We pulled into a quiet coffee shop a few blocks away. My palms were slick with sweat as Rachel parked and turned to me. "Remember," she said, her voice calm but commanding, "head up, shoulders back, smaller steps. Don't overthink it. Most people won't give you a second glance." I stared at the door, frozen. Rachel leaned closer, her eyes locking onto mine. "You're Lily now. Own it." With that, she got out of the car and came around to open my door like it was the most normal thing in the world. I stepped out, my heels clicking against the pavement. Every sound felt magnified, every passing glance like a spotlight. We walked into the cafe. Rachel ordered confidently while I stood beside her, clutching my borrowed purse like a lifeline. The barista barely looked at me, muttering, "What can I get you, miss?" I froze. "Miss." Rachel elbowed me gently. "Lily?" My throat tightened, but the words slipped out before I could stop it. Iced tea, please." The barista smiled and typed it in unfazed. Rachel smirked as we walked to a corner table. "See? You survived. And you even got called Miss." I exhaled shakily, my nerves finally cracking into a reluctant laugh. For the first time, I wondered if maybe, just maybe, I could actually pull this off. By the time we left the cafe, my nerves had mostly settled. The barista hadn't looked twice. No one pointed or whispered. For the first time, I felt like maybe Rachel wasn't completely out of her mind. But then she turned down a street that didn't lead back to her apartment. "Where are we going?" I asked, panic creeping back into my voice. Rachel's lips curved into a mischievous smile. "You passed level 1, Lily. Now it's time for level 2. I gripped the seatbelt. "Rachel, what do you mean?" She didn't answer. 10 minutes later, we pulled up outside a chic little boutique with wide windows and racks of clothes gleaming inside. I froze. "No way. Absolutely not." "Yes way," Rachel said, already unbuckling. "You're going to try on outfits. In front of people. And you're going to own it." I shook my head. "I can't." "You can," she interrupted, her tone sharp but steady. "Lily, listen to me. If we're going to win this contest, you need to stop thinking like Ethan. You need to become her. This is how we do it." Before I could argue again, she was already at my door, holding it open expectantly. Reluctantly, I climbed out, my legs trembling in the heels. Inside, the boutique smelled of lavender and new fabric. A young sales associate approached with a bright smile. "Hi, ladies. Looking for anything special today?" Ladies. My heart skipped, but Rachel didn't give me time to panic. She looped her arm through mine and answered smoothly, "Yes, we're shopping for my friend Lily. She needs a few fresh looks." The associate's eyes turned to me. "Well, you've got the perfect figure for half our collection. Let me pull some options for you." I thought I might faint. But before I could object, she whisked me into a fitting room with an armful of dresses. Rachel shoved me gently inside. "Change. Now." I fumbled with the first hanger, a soft pastel blouse with a flowing skirt. Sliding it on, I stared at my reflection. The woman in the mirror looked nervous, yes, but also strangely real. When I stepped out, Rachel's eyes lit up. "Yes, that's the Lily I see." The sales associate clapped her hands. "Beautiful. That color was made for you." Heat rose to my cheeks. Compliments. Real compliments. Outfits blurred together. A sleek black dress, a floral sundress, even a blazer and skirt combo. Each one chipped away at my fear, replacing it with something I didn't expect, exhilaration. Finally, as I stood in front of the mirror in a pale blue wrap dress, Rachel appeared behind me, her reflection meeting mine. "Look at you," she whispered. "Do you still think this is just a game?" I swallowed hard. The truth was, I wasn't sure anymore. And that scared me more than anything. The drive back from the boutique should have been a relief, but my chest felt tighter with every block we passed. I had survived the cafe. I had survived the boutique. But Rachel wasn't done with me, I could feel it. Sure enough, when we pulled up in front of her building, she didn't get out right away. Instead, she turned the engine off and looked at me with that sly, calculating smile. "You did better than I thought," she said. "But one more test before I can say you're ready." My stomach twisted. "What kind of test?" She leaned closer, her eyes gleaming. The kind where you don't just fool strangers, but people who actually know you. I felt my heart lurch. Rachel, no. That's too risky. It's necessary, she countered. If you can't hold it together in front of someone who's met Ethan, you'll never stand a chance in the contest. I shook my head. Who are you planning to? Before I could finish, she pulled out her phone, tapping quickly. Relax. It's just my friend Julia. She's meeting us for dinner. She's never met you, but she's heard me talk about Ethan plenty. If she doesn't suspect a thing, then we know we're golden. My blood ran cold. Dinner? In public? With one of her friends? Rachel smirked at my expression. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Besides, Lily, you look gorgeous. Trust me. That evening, we walked into a trendy little bistro. I tried to keep my head high, but inside, every nerve screamed to turn and run. Julia was already seated at a corner table. She was petite, with curly dark hair and an easy smile. The moment she saw Rachel, she stood and hugged her warmly. And who's this? Julia asked, her eyes turning to me with polite curiosity. Rachel slid an arm around my shoulders. Julia, this is Lily. A new friend of mine. Julia extended her hand across the table. Nice to meet you, Lily. I hesitated for a fraction of a second before taking it. And nice to meet you too. My voice came out higher, softer, the way Rachel had coached me. Julia didn't flinch. She just smiled and gestured for us to sit. As the evening unfolded, conversation flowed easily between the two women. I stayed quiet at first, terrified I'd slip up, but Rachel kept pulling me in. So, Lily, Rachel said casually, didn't you just move here recently? I blinked, realizing she was throwing me a lifeline. Yes. From Portland, I improvised. Julia nodded. I love Portland. Did you ever go to Powell's? I almost stammered, but something inside me steadied. Yes. Once. It's like a maze of bookshelves. I got lost for an hour. Julia laughed. That's exactly what happened to me. Rachel gave me the smallest approving nod. By the time dessert arrived, I realized something shocking. Julia hadn't suspected a thing. She was chatting with me as if I had always been Lily, not Ethan hiding beneath layers of fabric and makeup. As we left the restaurant, Julia hugged me goodbye. We'll have to do this again sometime, Lily. Her words rang in my ears. She had believed it. Completely. Once Julia was gone, Rachel leaned in close, her breath brushing my ear. See? You're not just playing dress up. You are her. I swallowed hard, the reality settling over me. For the first time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back to being Ethan at all. The night after dinner with Julia, I lay awake in my apartment, staring at the ceiling. I should have felt relief. Julia hadn't recognized me. She had laughed with me, called me Lily, treated me like any other woman at the table. But instead of relief, there was something else clawing at me. Excitement. A dangerous kind of excitement that made me wonder if Rachel was right. Maybe Lily wasn't just a disguise. Maybe she was a part of me I had been burying all along. I told myself it was just the contest. Just a role. But when my phone buzzed and I saw Rachel's name light up the screen, I answered instantly. Morning, Lily, she said brightly, her voice oozing with amusement. I froze. She hadn't even asked. She just called me Lily. Morning, I replied softly, almost afraid of how natural it felt. I hope you're free today, she continued. Because the contest is a week away, and I have a schedule lined up. Consider it boot camp. By noon, I was back in her loft. Rachel had laid out everything, makeup kits, wigs, shoes, and outfits sorted into neat piles. But this time, she wasn't smiling mischievously, she was focused, serious. First lesson, she said, handing me a brush, isn't about what you wear. It's about how you carry yourself. A woman doesn't just walk differently, she moves differently. Grace, rhythm, balance. That's what sells the illusion. For hours, I paced her living room in heels while Rachel corrected every misstep. Smaller steps, Lily. Shoulders back. Lead with your hips, not your chest. Relax your arms, no stiff movements. Each correction chipped away at Ethan and built something else in his place. Someone smoother. Softer. Someone who didn't just wear a dress but belonged in it. By the time we stopped for lunch, my legs ached, but Rachel looked satisfied. "You're a quick learner," she said. "Almost like you've been waiting for someone to give you permission." Her words lingered longer than I wanted them to. The second lesson was conversation. Rachel quizzed me, forcing me to practice speaking in a softer, more melodic tone. "Not fake," she warned. "Just gentler. The way Lily would sound." At first, I stumbled. My voice cracked, my nerves betrayed me. But with Rachel's coaching, something shifted. The more I leaned into it, the more natural it felt, until the sound coming from my mouth wasn't Ethan trying to sound like Lily. It was Lily. "Perfect," Rachel said at last, her eyes glinting with approval. "If Julia believed you, the judges won't stand a chance." I should have been proud. Instead, I felt unsettled. Because for the first time, I wasn't sure if I was acting anymore. That evening, as I slipped back into my regular clothes to head home, Rachel stopped me at the door. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "you don't have to switch back so quickly. No one's around. You could stay Lily for a while." Her words caught me off guard. I looked down at the pile of makeup wipes in my hand, then back at my reflection in the mirror, still painted, still framed by the wig, still very much Lily. And for the first time, I hesitated. The next morning, my phone buzzed again before I was even out of bed. "Rachel, be at my place by 10. Don't dress as Ethan. Today, you're Lily." All day. My stomach twisted. All day? Out in the world with no escape? I typed back a dozen excuses before deleting them all. In the end, I sent a single word, "Okay." When I arrived at Rachel's loft, she didn't waste time. Within an hour, she had me polished to perfection. Foundation, lashes, soft curls, and a floral sundress that floated when I moved. She even slipped a delicate bracelet around my wrist. "Accessories complete the story," she said, fastening it. "Remember, Lily doesn't just wear clothes. She tells a story with them." I caught my reflection in her full-length mirror and barely recognized myself. The hesitation from yesterday seemed smaller now, almost drowned out by curiosity. Rachel's eyes sparkled. "Ready?" I swallowed hard. "For what exactly?" She smirked. "For life." Our first stop was the farmer's market on the south side. The place was buzzing, families, couples, vendors shouting about fresh strawberries and handmade candles.